I've had a number of people ask me about a couple of new products that have been released by a company called Technoglass. The first one is the Runner, which is a glass breaker, and the second one is the Edger, and this takes off those sharp edges of your stained glass. So I thought what I'd do is I'd give you a review at the same time, and I'd also demonstrate these tools on a couple of pieces of stained glass. And this glass is the new Lumina Art range, and it's what I've seen so far is absolutely stunning, and I'm going to actually be doing a video review on this glass very soon. So we've got a lovely yellow and orange wispy glass here, and we've also got this beautiful reflective glass here to this teal color. Absolutely stunning. So like I said, a video review will be coming about those. Now I just want to point out that these tools and those glass sheets have been supplied by a company called Access Glass. Now I'll put their details in the description box of this video, and I'll also add the website down the bottom there in case you'd like to go and purchase any of these tools or their glass. So what I'm going to do now is clear the decks, and we'll come back and we'll do some testing, starting off with the runners. Now where these come into their own is if you're doing narrow strips or you're shaping glass. If you're just using a glass scorer to do just your standard type of strip cutting, 20 millimeters, and you're just going to break those strips, well then really your ordinary running pliers will be sufficient. I just use these plastic Lepinette ones, and I find these work really well for your normal type of strips. Just score it, and then I just get my running pliers, my Lepinette plastic ones, and just break it. And these work really, really well. There's no need for a pair of these unless you're doing shaped cuts. Here's some round mirrored glass here, and I've scored it. And these cheap ones just work really, really well for straight cuts. As you can see, perfect. If you haven't got a pair of running pliers, then you might want to consider these for your straight strips as well as if you're shaping glass. But if you've already got a pair of running pliers, whether it's the Lepinette plastic ones or some other metal ones, you probably don't need these unless, like I said, you're doing narrow strips or strips that are shaped. Now I've got a lovely plate here, which would be perfect for mosaics. It's some really nice flowers there. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to put this plate here, and I'm just going to score and break a shape out of the stained glass. And I could have free-handed that, but I just thought that's neater. Okay, I've got my glass scorer there, and we'll see how these breakers work. Whoop, there you go. Now when you're using these with this arch, this running arch, it's got to face in the direction of the actual score line. So if I'm coming in from here, I can turn that like, I can leave it so it's vertical with the actual score line. If I am coming in from here and I'm coming on an angle, I need to turn that way, so as it's running with the score line. So what we'll do is we'll come in from the side, and you hear that click. Well, I hope you did. And then on the other side as well, another click there. Now I'm going to now turn that. Come in from there, and this is quite a large arch. This is quite a large arch here because I wanted to see. I didn't want to just put this here on the line because that would make it quite easy. I just want to see how well this works on an angle. There you go. Worked beautifully, and that's quite a nice edge on that too, I might say. So on something like this, it works really well. Now, just be aware that when you are scoring and breaking stained glass, sometimes the magic works and sometimes it doesn't. It really does come down to the temperature of the glass, the environment it's in, and also glass is manufactured differently depending on the manufacturer. So like I say, sometimes the magic works and sometimes it doesn't. So what I'm going to do now is I will just do a bit of a squiggly line there, and I'm pretty sure that will achieve that without an issue.
We'll see that because that's quite narrow here, quite wide here. We'll just see what it does. So I'm going to put the running arch now vertically, so it runs with the actual brake. Hear that click? I'm going to turn that around there now. That there. Another click. Now what I'm going to do is turn that way. I'll put that in there. There we go. Beautiful. Did a nice job. Very, very clean, I must say. Now I've broken this sheet down to a similar size to the previous sheet. It was quite large. And I've actually added the line on there where I need to score to. And it will be interesting to see how this actually goes, being a textured sheet and a mirrored one at that. And it's textured on this side, and it's considerably smoother on this side. So what I'm going to do now is get my glass scorer and just run along that line. There we go. And we'll see how we go. Like I said, sometimes magic works and sometimes it doesn't. But hopefully it will again this time. Put it in the right area. Wants to go. There you go. It's gone. I think it was just being difficult. So there you go. Really nice break. So now we're going to do a squiggly line. I had to pause the camera because of the glass shards from the scoring and breaking, and this sheet wasn't sitting well. But now I'm ready to go. I'm going to draw the squiggly line. And we'll see how this goes. Glass scorer. There is a texture even on the surface of this glass, so I'm just going slow. And we'll see how we go. Oh, there you go. Beautiful. It's actually quite nerve-wracking at times when you're doing things like this because you're not sure how it's going to go because, like I said before, every sheet of stained glass is different. But that's quite a nice break. So what do I think about the runner by Technoglass? Well, I think it's a very good tool to use. I think it's a very capable tool to break glass with, and I also think it's a very comfortable tool to use. The one thing I really love about them as well is the protruding running arch here. It clearly shows you the direction that the tool is going to be along the score line, and I really think that makes it so much easier. I think they're going to be a really good addition to anyone's existing tool range. Now the next question is, and I'm sure there's quite a few people out there that would like to know this, what is the difference between the runner and the Silberschnitt? Well, the Silberschnitt are the original design of this style of breaker, and they were released onto the market many years ago. Now, the Silberschnitt are made in Germany, and the runner is made in the USA. Now, the approximate weight of the Silberschnitt is 209 grams, compared to the runner, which is approximately 284 grams. I don't see that as a major issue. However, it is something to consider if you're looking for either a lighter weight tool or something that's a little bit heavier, because everyone has different tastes when it comes to what their preference is. Now the throat on the Silberschnitt, or the depth, the length, is approximately 5 millimeters longer than what's on the runner. Now again, I don't see that as a major issue, but some people that break glass may prefer to have a deeper or longer throat
when breaking glass. Now the length of the runner is approximately 25 millimeters longer compared to the Silberschnitt. Again, that's a personal choice as to which one you prefer. I've got reasonably large hands and I find both tools are very comfortable in my hands and easy to use. So again, that's a personal preference. Now, if I had to have my say as to which one is better, I would have to say that the Silberschnitt is marginally better. And the reason being is I found it just that bit better to break thinner pieces of glass and also shapes. However, in saying that though, I only consider it marginally. The runner will do 95% of what most people want. The other thing is too, to get those extra benefits, the Silberschnitt is more expensive compared to the runner. So again, that's something you would need to take into consideration when you're purchasing or looking at purchasing either one of these tools. Now let's talk about another new tool that's been released by Thankyou called the edger. And this is quite a handy tool for helping take off those sharp edges on your stained glass. It's very easy to use and it's got a couple of round grinding stones in here that rotate around. And like I say, it's very easy to use. So it's just a matter of getting the glass, putting it into the grinding stones and just maneuvering it through. And you only have to probably do it once. Sometimes I do it twice, but I find it works really quite well and very quick to use. Same with texture glass, just grind it. Very easy and it works well. Where I wouldn't use it on is anything that's got a reflective backing. I wouldn't use it on that because it's likely to take the actual backing off. I found it to be really good, very quick, and the grinding stones in here, as far as I'm aware, they're not replaceable. You would have to buy another unit, but I'm sure you'll get quite a lot of work out of them before that needs to happen. Now, my only concern is that when you're grinding dry. And my concern is the silica dust. I would be inclined, if using this, I would be inclined to use a disposable mask, one with a P2 or an N95 rating to help avoid that breathing in of that silica dust. Now, I know it's not the same silica dust that's found in thin set, your crockery, your grout. I know it is a different silica dust, but you still want to protect your body from breathing any of that silica dust in, along with protective eyewear. And you should be doing that anyway when you're doing glass. You need that protective eyewear. So as a unit, it weighs 135 grams, so it's not very heavy, but it does come in handy. And I think there's going to be times that you could use this. And I think there's also going to be times when you want to use a normal diamond sanding pad with water, and especially for if you're going to be wanting to do the edges of anything that's got a reflective back on, that's the type of product I'd be using on that. So anyway, I hope you've taken something away from the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any comments, put them down in the bottom of the comment section of the YouTube channel. I'd like to know your thoughts on the runner or the edger. Perhaps you've already got them or you're looking at purchasing them. And I'll see you in the next video. Keep creating and enjoy.